be leaving the neighborhood on the Marine base that they'd come to know and love. The neighbors were other Marine families, and the Wives' Club had been a source of nurturing support for her. The thought of leaving those ladies made her throat close and caused a heaviness in her chest that no amount of deep breathing could erase. Her world had crumbled, her love was lost, and she had no idea what her future held. But catching the chocolate brown eyes of the amazing kid beside her, she swallowed past her tears, smiled, and said, "Here we go, kiddo." Ryan looked at her solemnly and nodded. "We're gonna be okay, Mom," he said, fiddling with the cord of his earbuds. "I know, Rye. I know." She pushed a lock of shiny brown hair back from his forehead. He smiled and shook it back down again. The pair was headed to her parents' house in Illinois. Rossalyn had no idea what to do with her life now, and her childhood home would provide a much-needed refuge while she figured it out. Her dad had connections and would probably be able to help her find a job, and she'd even thought about going back to school for her master's degree, despite the fact that she hadn't exactly utilized the bachelor's in business that she'd earned before getting married. It would take at least a couple of days to travel to Illinois from North Carolina, and Rossalyn planned to take it slowly, stopping whenever she or Ryan saw something that looked interesting. It might be the last time for quite a while that they'd have the chance for such quality mother-son time, and she was determined to make the most of it. Ryan planned to pass the time listening to music and playing video games on his phone, and Rossalyn dreaded the possibility of having so much time to fall victim to her thoughts, fears, and loneliness. Ryan fell asleep roughly half an hour after they left the house, and Rossalyn envied his escape from reality. She looked over at his mouth gaping slightly, all the cares and worries temporarily erased from his face, and felt a warm rush of emotion. She loved this sensitive young man fiercely and was determined to make a life for him, even now that she didn't have Will by her side. She didn't think that she was ready to be both a mom and dad, but she didn't have much choice in the matter, so she'd do the best that she could, come what may. She'd been a Marine wife long enough to know that the strong survived, adapted, and made their way in the world, sometimes against all odds. Despite the drastic change of scenery, most of the trip passed in a blur, until Rossalyn stopped for gas in the tiny town of Chatsworth, Illinois, roughly 3 hours away from her parents' house. Clearly, the town existed simply because it happened to fall right at the crossroads of 3 major highways. There was a gas station right near the exit that she took, which presented a much-needed opportunity to fuel up, stretch their legs, and peruse the snack selection. Ryan yawned and stretched when he got out of the SUV, then made a beeline for the bathroom while his mother monitored the gas pump as it glug-glugged along. Road-weary and tired, Rossalyn glanced across the street and saw something intriguing. There was a deserted little building, painted a gloomy sage green, which had a sign over the front door that read, "Sugar Shack," in faded pink lettering. There was a for sale sign in the frilly curtained window of the place, and she tried to imagine what kind of business had once been there. In her current hungry state, she guessed that perhaps it had been a candy shop or a bakery of some sort. She was oddly fascinated by the simple building and continued to stare at it, not even realizing that the gas pump had clicked off. "Mom, it's done." Ryan was amused at her spacey expression and pointed at the pump. "Oh, right." Rossalyn shook herself mentally and tapped the edge of the nozzle delicately on the rim of the gas tank before hanging it back in the holster on the pump. "I'm going inside for a minute. Did you get everything you needed?" she asked, surveying the bottles and bags in his arms. "Yeah, I'm good," he nodded, heading for the passenger side. Normally, she wouldn't dream of letting her son nosh on